Shani Godwin.
Thank you. But you're so successful. People say it to me all the time. It's meant as a compliment, a recognition of my accomplishments. But what they don't know is how hard I've had to fight to get here and stay here. I want to take you back to a moment in time when my success was hanging on by a thread. It was 2016, and I was busy leading my communications firm, Communique USA, over that magical $1 million milestone. And y'all, I was busy doing all the things. I was leading our team toward growth. I was putting out the fires. I was dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I was managing our employees. And I was climbing the ladder of success, working with some of the nation's best and brightest Fortune 500 companies. On the outside, I had it all together, or so I looked. But on the inside, I was battling a major mental health diagnosis, psychotic depression. Now, you may be wondering what psychotic depression is. And for me, that meant functioning as an overachieving CEO while battling hallucinations, hearing voices, thinking thoughts well outside of who I ever knew myself to be. It was terrifying, and I was terrified. And I knew I couldn't keep going on that way. Hi, I am Shani Godwin, the president of EO Atlanta, the CEO of Communique USA, a mental health advocate, and survivor. You see, it didn't take just one psychotic break. I'm an overachiever, so in fact, it took not one, not two, but 3 psychotic breaks before I realized I had to do something different. And my business couldn't thrive if I wasn't thriving. And that's when I decided to make managing and taking care of my mental health a non-negotiable priority. And I knew that I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine, pushing past the pain and burning myself out. Because in reality, no matter how successful I looked on the outside, I was exhausted. I was struggling, and I knew I wasn't alone. So I got to work creating a mental health plan that not only saved my life, but it also strengthened my business. And that's what I'd like to talk to you today about. I had to learn how to live, work, and how I played. I had to make space for play. I had to look at how I rested and how I showed up for my business and the people who depended on me, because I knew I couldn't be the only one who was busy, overwhelmed, and trying to hold it all together. So I'm going to take you through the 3 biggest things I did, the big 3 cornerstones of my mental health plan, this plan not only saved my life, but it grew my business in ways I could never imagine possible. So the first thing I did was decided what boundaries I needed to have to be able to function at my best, to be able to avoid burnout, to be able to manage emotional pain. I had been going through a divorce and a loss of my dad, and the weight of that was not being addressed because I was masking it with work. And I realized that I was not the kind of leader who desired to be on 24/7. I needed time and breaks away to be able to think straight, to be able to get some rest, to be able to refuel by connecting with people who love me and could pour love back into me and help me heal. And so what we decided to do was create what is now known in our company as our infamous email ban. That's right, at Communicate USA, we do not send nor do we respond to emails after 7 p.m. on weekdays and at all on weekends. People are like, what? The way that we do this, we have an actual policy, our time tracking policy, and it is a fireable offense if you do not follow it. And so the most important thing I can say about boundaries is a boundary is only as good as you sticking to them. And so one of the biggest questions we get asked is, well, what about your clients? I couldn't do that. The reality is not only did our clients respect it, they also appreciated it because that meant they weren't getting emails and disruptions during dinner and baseball games and plays. And so by communicating it and making sure it was followed by all, the expectation was never set that we'd be available 24/7. And so we were able to reclaim that time. My team started becoming more productive, more friendly, more happy. We worked better together. The culture rose. We started attracting like-minded employees and people who wanted to do work with us, and the business grew. So the first tip, again, that we did was set boundaries for the business, and we stick to them. The second thing I started doing personally was taking intentional breaks and time off. So I have been grinding it out for this first part of the year. Someone put me on an EOX panel right after the holiday and right behind a mid-year strategy summit. So for me, this looks like tomorrow will be a day off, a free day where I rest, where I recover, where I don't spend any time thinking, doing, or being Shani, the CEO or the president of EO Atlanta. There are many studies that show us that stress costs U.S. businesses, not years ago, but last year, stress cost U.S. businesses $300 billion in productivity losses. I need you to get that in your spirit. $300 billion was lost in this country because of stress-related illnesses, increased insurance claims, absenteeism. And if that level of stress is systemic in your business, the reality is it's actually working against the very thing you're trying to create, which is growth. And so I've learned that by taking a moment to let go of the vine and go away and reset and do things that I love and enjoy, fill up my tank, if you will, I'm able to give my business and those that depend on me the best of me from my overflow and not from the remnants of what I have left in my cup. And finally, I started using rest as my secret weapon. So sleep is such an important part of wellness. And I will be honest, this is something I do and I am still to this day, and I'm 20 years in on this journey, working on sleep hygiene, but working to make sure I'm not just closing my eyes, but that I'm getting high quality sleep, that I'm able to acknowledge when I am tired. I'm very open and transparent with my team about my personal mental health challenges, and they give me space to do what I need to do. It is not uncommon for me to hit a wall and say, hey team, I need to go away. And my favorite place to go is the beach. If I can get around some water within easily 24 to 48 hours of disconnected intentional time, my creativity rises, my thoughts become my highest level thinking, and I am able to restore and reset and then bring that energy back into the business. And when we're on vacation, similar to the email ban, everyone is on vacation. I don't disrupt my employees. They don't disrupt me. I tell them that I trust them to make the decision that is best for the business, and that I will support them when I come back, no matter what that is. And I have found that by giving them that permission to do what is right, they rise to the occasion, and everything is fine. And if something's not great, we can fix it when I came home and when I come back to work. And so one of the craziest things I did to test the theory was at the end of 23, I took 5 intentional no contact weeks off away from my business. And when I say no contact, I had no clue barely who they were when I got back. And when I got back, they could have cared less that I was gone. The business didn't stop, problems got solved. They flipped the vacation policy into something else. And I really had to my ego was like, am I not needed? I don't think so. But it also showed me where I had the business in a chokehold with my ego thinking that I needed to be the one to get it all done. It also suppressed those who would ordinarily step up, and I was able to really see who the A leaders were in my team, and our business grew through that season. So I came back to work after 5 weeks of no contact. We grew, and they were like, yeah, we got it. Go back, leave. We were doing better without you. So I use rest as my secret weapon. So this is the challenge for you today. I'm gonna ask you to take out your phones. Step 1, I want you to think about a boundary that you can set to protect your mental health, your physical health, something that is a struggle for you, that you are having difficulty getting a handle on because the business keeps getting in the way. And I want you to set and commit to a simple boundary that you can put in place this year. If you're not ready for email ban, I'm not gonna push you there, but I will say that email ban has gotten us loads of press coverage for what it's worth. I'm sure Sarah would be very happy about that. So, but it can be something as simple as shutting your phone off at dinner, or being present with your family, or whatever you do that work gets in the way. Set a boundary. Does everyone have a boundary or something they want to commit to? And the second part of that is, once you set this boundary, hold the line, because the universe and everything under the sun is going to come up to test you on that. And that's how boundaries work. When we set a boundary, it's tested, people push back against it, and that's the way you know that very thing has been bleeding into your life. So protect your boundary, commit to it, and push back and explain, this is a non-negotiable request. The second thing I want you to do is take intentional time off. And here's the most important part: guilt-free. I don't know what it is about us as high-achieving entrepreneurs. We think that a moment away from the business is going to destroy everything we've been working for. And when we go on vacation and we take breaks, we feel guilty about it. And actually, I want you to reframe that taking time off will grow your business. When you are stressed out and when you are not taking breaks, you are functioning from a lower level, diminished returns place mentally. When you restore that, you bring your highest thinking back to the table. And the goal should be to take enough breaks and time off, free days here and there, so you stay in that highest level of productivity. without getting down into that autopilot and then eventually burned out part that I got into. So if you got your calendar, I want you to make a date with yourself at some time in the next 90 days. I don't care if you're a 7-day work week or take a weekend off, whatever that needs to look like. And if that feels too hard, put a few hours of intentional time on the calendar for you. And I want you to plan to do something really rich and good for yourself. Harken back to rule number 1, hold the line, set the boundary, because someone's gonna ask for that time. And that again is non-negotiable time. So be intentional about taking time off this year. And finally, I'm gonna ask you to just reframe all of this and reframe rest and time off and boundaries and realize that it is not laziness. It is allowing you to be the best version of yourself in all the places that you need to be. It will help you personally be able to thrive and enjoy this amazing journey that we're on a lot more. And your team will appreciate you because they will see your joy trickle down to them, and together the company will rise off of that joy. So here we are at the Laughing Skull Comedy Club, and while there's nothing really funny about psychotic breaks, hallucinating, and hearing voices, what I can say through all of the difficult, hard times in my life, life has also blessed me with an amazing sense of humor. So I've learned as one of my healing tools to learn to laugh through the chaos and not take myself seriously. All the things get done, the I's get dotted, the T's get crossed, and we go on to see and live another day. Because after all, what good is being so successful if you're too tired to enjoy it? So sit down, shut down, and if you must, take a nap. But at the end of the day, make sure that you are successful because you are doing successful things that make you thrive. It's 2025, y'all. Happy New Year, new you. Thank you.